Hey everybody, welcome to GGS Railways. My name is Greg. This is my YouTube channel. Alright, tonight at long last we are going to replace the brushes on this Jubilee locomotive. The last live stream he was in, he just decided, nah, just started kind of humming and just sitting there. And generally speaking, and I'll show you the sound here in a minute. When they start doing that, they just need some service. They need some brushes. We serviced him lightly when we first got him, replaced the pickup shoe and some other things, but we did not have brushes at the time. I have replenished my supply of brushes. They are right here. I know you can't see them real well. And anyway, let's get to going on this project. I'm going to show you what it'll do. I'm going to zoom it in real quick, then we'll take it in there on the kitchen table and we'll, we'll get to work on it. As a side note, somebody asked the other day, how I got away with repairing trains on the kitchen table. Why my wife didn't squawk. Well, I don't have a wife, and therefore I can repair trains on the kitchen table. Let's get to going. All right, guys, so I got this zoomed in really, really nice here. We got a nice tight shot of our Jubilee locomotive as well as our GGS Railways coffee mug. Look at this, look at this. They are available in our store. Get you one. They are super, super nice. I have 3, wish I had more. Anyway, let's see what this guy is actually doing, and we'll take it from there. With my luck, it'll run perfect, and it'll make me look, like I don't know. But okay, yes, no, it's doing it. I'm going to take off this microphone and put it down there by the train so you can hear this. So, all right, do you hear that kind of welding, welding type sound? Maybe you've never welded, but that's kind of what it sounds like. And what it's doing is those brushes are just not quite making contact. They're just kind of sparking there on the armature, and that kind of tells you that the brushes need some help. They need probably replacing. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take this off the track. We're going to take it in there on the kitchen table, and we're going to get these brushes replaced, get everything cleaned up, get it all nice, and then we'll put it back on this track and we will run it for you guys, and I promise it's going to be a lot happier. Let's do it. Alright guys, so we got everything up here on the table that I think we will need. We have the locomotive, which of course is the main thing. We got the brushes we purchased. We got some Q-tips to clean up some things. We got some alcohol to also clean up some things. We got some electric motor parts cleaner just in case we need that. We got a small pair of pliers. We got a large screwdriver for model trains, but a small screwdriver, then a set of screwdrivers that includes kind of a pick to get those old brushes out. Anyway, let's get to work. Let's see what we need to do here. I'm going to see if I need to zoom this in a little bit better. Let's do that. Alright guys, so this is kind of a tight shot, but I think that this will ensure that you guys can see real well. What I've done in the past, and it hasn't worked real well, is I will do kind of a wider shot and then zoom in via the editing, and that just doesn't work real well. It makes the image kind of blurry. So yeah, alright. So like I said, this screwdriver is a little large for model trains, but it will work. So alright, I got a little plate here to put my little screws on. These screws aren't real easy to find. As a matter of fact, a lot of the Marx locomotives that you get will have screws that aren't exactly for it, because when you lose them, well, they're quite small, and you may or may not find them. Alright, so here comes off the shell. It's just that simple. No problem whatsoever. So, let's see. Yes, we can see. I was making sure that you guys could see. Okay, so let's get this this brush plate off, and I mean, this should be a very simple job. We will see. I probably just jinxed it. So, all right, 1 nut, and then 2 nuts. So, an interesting story on that. I got lectured that I should be using nut drivers on this. And I agree. My original set of nut drivers got stolen out of my truck, and so I went and bought some others, and wouldn't you know, it didn't come with that exact same size. That's so weird. Anyway, so that's why we don't have one. So there's a lot of, it looks like lubrication here in our way. We've preached about this in the past, and I guess I'll preach about it again. When you lubricate your locomotives, you need to make sure that you don't get it in areas that will attract dust and grime, because otherwise you wind up with stuff like this. It comes off the track and in the air, and yeah. Alright, so we got the nuts off and one little screw that goes in the bottom, and we need to very carefully pry this little little plate off. You want to take your time and do this, not in a way that it forces anything, because this is some sort of fiber type product and it will break, it will split, and then you will find yourself looking for another one. And I mean, they're plentiful, but you know, why do something you don't have to? So all right, what I usually do is I crank this guy to where the rod here is kind of towards the bottom, and generally speaking this will come out and just swing out of your way just like so. So all right, okay, wow, yeah, these are pretty crusty looking inside here, so yeah, may or may not be a problem with the brushes. We'll replace them anyway, but this is pretty well gunked up. That's why you don't get the lubrication in spots where it doesn't belong. So all right, I'm not sure if I ought to hit this with the alcohol or the electric motor parts cleaner, and I think we'll start with the alcohol just to see what it does. All right. So yeah, this, whew, wow, yeah, this guy, see, I don't know, I'm gonna turn this around, and hopefully you can see, turn it upside down, maybe you can see, this guy is really, really, unbelievably nasty inside. Oh my goodness, now this guy's pretty gunked up pretty good. Once again, you don't want to get your lubrication in parts where it doesn't need or desire lubrication. This one I can certainly see how that happened, because, well, I probably have the alcohol in the way, because this one has the wick where you're supposed to oil the wick, and it would be very easy to over oil that. So that's probably what happened. We've run this for quite some time, so with that oil in there, and then of course, you know, we generally run them in there on the floor. That's not a good combination. You'll gather a whole lot of debris, dust, whatever. So all right, this guy's coming pretty clean. Liking it, liking it, liking it. So I use these Q-tips on these, and I call them brush tunnels. I know they have a name, I just never have figured out what it is. And I just take these and I just stick them in here. Now you need to be careful when you do this that you don't catch that spring in a way that it catches your Q-tip, because otherwise you can wind up with some fibers in here, and we've talked about that before. That is, it can make it a situation where the spring gets bent or damaged or whatever. You don't want that. If you do get it hung up in there, just be really, really patient. Take your time and fish it out of there. You don't want to bend that or change the strength of the spring. So all right, this is coming pretty clean. This is a lot dirtier than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were just going to do brushes. You know, that's what I get for saying it's going to be simple. And of course, it's still simple. I mean, we won't be doing this for a whole lot longer. So all right, let's get some of this electrical spray here, and let's get some of this armature spray down, just simply because it's so, oh wow, so incredibly nasty. So that works really well. We will have to remember that for future reference. All right, yes, very good, very good. Wow. All right, so let's see here. That armature looks plenty nice, plenty good. Let's get a little bit more of a wipe down, and we'll see. Wow, do you see the black smearing around? Yeah, that is one filthy little guy right there. All right, wow. So we stirred up some stuff. Wow. All right, so I guess maybe some more spray, huh? I had not expected that. How about you guys? So all right, that looks pretty good. I feel like that's gonna work. All right, well, I keep getting the stuff in the way, don't I? Let me get this zoomed back out to where we can see a little bit, and we'll get this all back together. All right, guys, so this all came really clean. I'm really happy with it. So the old brushes were worn. These Marx brushes are quite short to start with, so anytime they wear down and you are in them and you have them available, you should go ahead and replace them, because they do wear down pretty quickly, especially if you run them as much as I run mine. So now let me show you something real quick, and I've mentioned this before. Okay guys, so when you put these in, you want to make sure that this notched edge is outward. And in other words, this smooth edge will want to go in towards the armature. And the reason that has that notch is the spring fits in there and it keeps it from spinning. Anyway, that's just a little tip, and if you put it in this way against your armature, there's a pretty good chance you might damage or scar your armature, and you really don't want to do that. So alright, so let's get these guys actually in here. Now when you put these in here, you want to put them in, and you want to kind of put them in, let them lock it into the little spring like I just talked about, and you want to make sure that they spring. See what I'm saying? And yeah, that because if they're sticking or binding in any kind of way, you kind of have to do something else. So these are springing real nice. So alright, there's a couple of different ways that you can put these brushes in, and the way I'm going to do it tonight is a little bit different than the way I've done it in the past, because I showed you the other way. But tonight I'm going to show you the way that most people find to do it, and it's a little more simple, a little more intuitive maybe. So anyway, you want to get this this whole brush assembly in line. Now don't get in any big hurry, because keep in mind that this wiring is quite old, it's quite brittle. And anyway, alright, so get it to where that little thing is down as far as you can. I turned it, so it changed my geometry a little bit there. Alright, then you can just slide it behind there. Then you put it over the two little pegs here that are threaded where your nuts were going to go. And then you just kind of lightly press it on. Now be careful once again, because this is some sort of fiber little product, and it will split, it will crack, it will give you give you fits, and it's not really worth doing it. Just take your time, it'll be okay. So alright, so let's go ahead and get the little nuts back on here. Once again, no nut driver, because inexplicably it skipped this size in this set that I bought. I don't know. Anyway, alright, so there we go. So one of the things that I have done before, I'm guilty of, is that there's a screw that goes in the bottom of the plate here. Let me get these two nuts tightened up, then we'll talk about it. Just won't take a second to do that. And when you tighten these nuts, you just want them to be kind of snug. Don't get real crazy with it, because once again, this is a fiber product. It will crack. Not fun when that happens. So alright, let's turn this guy to where we can get to the screw hole here. Now, when you are putting your screws, in a safe place so you don't lose them, this one and these guys that came out of the body shell, they look very similar, but they are not the same. So you want to make sure that you keep them separate in a way that you will remember what goes where. Otherwise it may come out and you'll think that your locomotive is broken, which is never a fun thought. So, alright, let's get this tightened up here. That guy can be a little bit tighter because it's got the metal over the fiber. So alright, so in order to get these brushes in, what you'll want to do is take something that has an end quite kind of like this, kind of like a very small ice pick. And what you'll just do is you will take and you'll get the springs, pull the springs out of the little tunnel, and then you can put your little brushes in there, and you're going to be good to go. Now this takes a little bit of patience. The other way that I showed you is always easier for me, but this does work. See it coming out of the little tunnel there. Just take your finger and move it out of the way. Go ahead and insert your brush. Make sure you do it right to where the smooth side is against the armature. Now, before you spring that back in, you want to take and turn your brush to where it's most likely to catch that spring. So otherwise, sometimes they'll get a little cattywampus, like that word, cattywampus, and they won't spring in there exactly like they're supposed to. But that one's in there, and it's in there good. So there's one. And then the second one works pretty much just the same. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because the little drive rod's in the way, but we can do it, no problem. Just Patience. Patience is the name of the game. If you don't have a lot of patience, probably you shouldn't repair your own. I mean, this is pretty simple. It really is. I mean, you'd have to really be really impatient. So, all right. I'm having a problem getting this guy to pick up. Speaking of patience. And I may have to turn him in a way that, well, maybe I could turn him upside down. You guys can see it if I turn it upside down. So, all right. Can't see if I have it or not. So, this is why I normally do it the other way that I showed you guys on the last Marx motor that we did. Because I always have problems picking these guys out. So, alright, we may fast forward past this part. On the other hand, though, I don't like to edit a lot or fast forward past a lot because I don't want to give any kind of illusions that, you know, this is like, you know, super simple or, you know, inexplicably simple, and then you guys are going, well, you know, I saw him do it. So what I did is I'm going to change to a smaller size pick here, and I think we can probably do it with that. Just wasn't quite doing it with that. Yeah, there it goes. I don't know if you guys can see that. Just spring it up out of the way, kind of hold it with your finger. Sneak this new brush in there. And then, well, I didn't get it turned, but I think we can still do it. You can take your little pick and turn it too, probably. So, all right. So I'm going to apologize if you can't see this real well. I'm going to get this in here. Then I'm going to, oh, well, this one moved. Well, now. Might be another one of those do as I say, not as I do type videos. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the springs are lined up in the little slots, and so they are correct. So we're ready to go put this back together, then we'll put it on the track and see what happens. Alright guys, so I have a zoom back out here so we can put this all back together. You may notice that my hands are back to clean. When you're doing your final assembly on these guys, before you touch the shell or any of your rolling stock or anything, you want to wash your hands because that black stuff that comes off there is kind of a carbon. And on these metal locomotives, it's not quite as important, but like on your plastic body locomotives, that will stain that. And sometimes, actually oftentimes, that stain won't come off. Now I say just on the plastic ones, but you know, if you get it on this one, then you handle a plastic one, well, you know, the same story. So it's just better to keep your hands clean, kind of keep that stuff from going everywhere. So all right, putting these guys together is pretty freaking simple. I didn't mention it at the beginning of the video, but this is just a single reduction motor. This is Marx's cheaper, more common of the two motors, the other type being the double reduction. This is just a single reduction, but it works good. It works really well. So all right, let's get this guy together. It's really simple. Just goes in a little slot in the back. And you put your screws back here in the front where they came out. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So a little tip is when you put these screws in the front, you don't want to get them totally tightened down, because oftentimes on these Marx you'll have to play with it back and forth or up and down or something. And if you have one side totally tight, it makes it difficult to do that. So alright, that's just a little tip. Alright, so I got both of the screws going, I believe. And once you get them going on both sides, you can go ahead and tighten them up. It's not that big of a deal at that point because you've already lined it up. So alright, that is about as simple as it gets. So I'm looking at these brushes over here, and they really they really look super unhappy. Like I said, we should have probably replaced these brushes when we got him. But as you may or may not recall if you watch my videos, this actually came with a Marx cattle card, and it was just thrown in, and it was thrown in as a parts locomotive. It was missing this pickup, and we replaced the pickup, and it worked so well that we just added him to our little fleet. So yeah, the bonus. So all right, let's go put him on the track. Let's see what we did. Let's see if we did a good job, or if we need to come back over here. I think we probably did a good job. It's not that hard. If you're handy at all, you can do it. Just gotta be patient. Take your time. All right, let's go get that on the track. All right, guys, so we have the new brushes in. We have him all cleaned up and lubricated in the places that he should be lubricated, not in the places that he shouldn't be. And I think this guy is going to work a lot better for us now. Let's check it out. Hard to argue with that. Interestingly, that's about the slowest I can run him on this particular transformer. Alright guys, well we did a pretty good job. Now unfortunately, while we were servicing him, the light bulb burned out, when we put him back on the track. And so I changed the light bulb, but unfortunately it's not the exact type of light bulb, and it's burning, but it's not burning bright like the other one was, so we'll have to change that. Alright guys, what do you say we give him some friends? Let him run with some friends. What do you say? Let's do it. This little N scale. That's the Arnold Rapido on the N scale. And as you can see, he is quite rapid. Lives up to his name. Alright, let's get this HO going. This is going to look cool here in a second. And last but not least, the G scale. And move our cup out the way here. We don't want them falling off. Alright guys, I think we could all agree that that was definitely worth the price of admission. Alright guys, well we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, repairing the Marx Jubilee. We will get the correct light bulb for him, because he looks way better with the correct light bulb, with the brightly shining bulb, and this one is it's more of the well, it's the light out type bulb, and apparently they are different. Who knew? Alright guys, well with no further ado, GGS Railways out.